Well, hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing an interesting painting. This is going to be inspired by the Apollo 8 Earthrise photo, which is an iconic photo taken from space. You've probably seen it. This is what it looks like. Yeah, I got this as a commission, and at first I've been a little bit intimidated, so I've been kind of avoiding it a little bit. But I'm gonna dive into it today, and I'm hoping that it will work out. This whole thing kind of has the feeling of a bravery test because the space is just so dark, and there's really nothing. There's nothing in the rest of the scene other than we've got the surface of the moon and the Earth itself. And so ideally the black background that I'm working with here is going to stay nice and clean, and this has a layer of oil paint on it that's dried, and so I'll be kind of working wet into a few areas, but I'm not gonna wet out the whole thing. I'm just gonna paint the areas that I'm gonna be working in, and I'm gonna try and do it carefully and well. I'll probably go in with some fairly tiny knives and try to get the details on the earth. It's funny to work on a painting where like most of the detail is all in one very specific place, and the rest of it is going to be kind of simple. So I'm gonna try and do a nice job with it though. So I'm gonna start, I think, by just mixing up a few colors, and those colors, maybe for a warm-up, I'm gonna start with the surface of the moon. That seems nice. So I'm gonna do kind of a warm red, and then like they're both grays, but it's like a redder gray, and then maybe like a slightly greener light gray. It's gonna be most of the surface. It's not gonna have a ton of contrast in it. That's not. It's kind of there for setting, but not the focus of the picture. So yeah, we'll try that out. So let's start out with this knife, and let's see. So I think the more purple, gray, green. I'm gonna make up a good amount of this though. Put some Viridian and some alizarin crimson, and that'll be sort of the base for this. And then I'm gonna get some titanium white. I don't know, I'm just a little bit nervous. But hey, I don't know if I don't try, right? All right, so let's see. We'll just do the alizarin Viridian first. So I'm gonna go more red than green. That usually gives me pretty nice, like purpley dark. I'm gonna add a little bit of white to this. I might add some umber too, just to give it. I'm gonna kind of desaturate it, but keep it dark. Try that out. Try and find the right tone. Maybe a little blue. Kind of just pushing this color around till I get what I have in mind. That's a pretty good one. Okay, that's about right. A little bit of variety in there won't be a bad thing. And then I'm gonna do kind of a lighter gray. Still it's like a little bit green, it's a little bit brown. I'm gonna do some raw umber, touch of Viridian. I really don't want it that green, but there's something about it that's slightly green to me. And a bunch more white. This will be brighter. I've got a bunch of red on my knife still, so add a bit more green. This might take a little bit to get to, but I need a good amount of paint for it too, so that's okay. green feels just a little too blue. Gonna just grab a little bit of yellow, push it in that direction a little bit. Now this may end up a very colorful moon painting. I don't know. We shall see. And I do think I will put down a little bit. I'm going to put some safflower oil down on this lower piece here. So, do that one, this one. And just like I've been doing, so a little bit of safflower and a little bit of the alkyd medium. I'm going to do just a tiny droplet. I could skip this, it just takes a lot longer to dry. And people like to get their paintings, so I don't like them to take too long to dry. Alright. And take that. Just gonna mix that with another knife. Just to get it all incorporated in there. The reason I'm not going to do this over the whole thing is I think it just gives it one more chance for a lot of paint and dust and things to get into the surface. So I don't want to do the whole thing with it. So I'm just going to try to hit the area that the moon surface will be for now. I may end up doing the same thing with the earth as well. Or I may outline that and then fill it in. But that might not be necessary there either. I think this is a good kind of warm-up area to start in. I kind of go across here. I'm not going to worry about the top edge being too accurate. Probably work that with the knife and get it pretty crisp anyway, but trying to get this in right now. I'm gonna do a little extra. That's okay. Okay. So now that goes on nice and clear. I'm gonna take a little bit of this, and I'm noticing that most of the surface here is going to be this kind of lighter tone, so I'm just going to kind of drag that in and try and copy what I'm seeing as best I can. Kind of drift it. It drifts off to the side here. Nice. Okay. Same idea here. That feels pretty good. I'm just gonna keep working in here with this knife. This is mostly light tones here. It gets a little bit more light gonna go and get some of this darker red. Just kind of try and do the shapes I see. I'm gonna probably brush this out, but the closer I can get the colors, the better that will be. I did make some slight adjustments to this. I found the picture online a few places, and there were kind of a few different color temperatures and things going on, different things going on with the white balance, so I kind of just grabbed one and adjusted it the way I liked, since it seemed like there was no exact one. And honestly, it's not going to be an exact copy anyway. I'm not a printer. I'm a painter. So let's see. That's pretty good. I'm gonna take, bring a brush in here. I'm gonna bring a little bit more of this light through here first. I'm thinking that I'm gonna soften this up, and then I'm gonna put in some more texture afterward. So that's kind of my idea right now. Let's try that. Okay. Try that out. Okay. I'll just pop back into this brush that I just used. I'm gonna just kind of looking at the surface and just seeing what kind of angles I see. Because I've got the two colors down, it really kind of gives that three-dimensional effect pretty nicely. Just dragging the brush through it. Let's see. Kind of trying to start up top and then work my way down here too. This kind of creates a bunch of midtones in here that are nice to have. Just get this whole edge filled in. Pretty good. All right. I'm gonna take a knife with a little bit of a sharper edge on it. And just do a little bit more with this top edge here. I want this to feel nice and crisp. At least as much as I can. This is a limitation with the canvas and the weave and the things going on, so I'll do my best with it though. And then as I go in with this, I can kind of I can create a little bit more texture now that I've got some of those other tones laid in. I guess it was up for debate for quite a while who had actually taken this picture. The astronauts didn't. I think in the heat of the moment there was a hand me the camera, let me grab it quick, and there was no one really knew or that was suspected, but I think that's kind of fun. I think it's like for something really famous to not really know where it came from for a while. I wouldn't normally try to like represent this so carefully if it was like a different landscape, but since I don't know, I feel like I might as well put as much detail into the areas of this that have detail, right? Trying to get the lighting is very strange. It's not something that we're used to. It's not really even a crater, it's just like an edge of something catching some light. It's pretty good. I think I'm gonna add just the tiniest touch of white into this green mix. Hopefully not overdo it. Just put in a little bit more here, just in a couple of areas. Like little speckles and things too. Got about the right feel. I may probably let this dry and then maybe come back and do a little bit more with it, but I think it's a good foundation there. Maybe just fix this little peak right here. That's pretty good. Alright, this is the scary part. So I wondered about how I was going to do this. I've been thinking about it for a while. And I was like, I could make a stencil, I could, you know, cut something out, or I could try to mask it and do something with tape. And I don't know, I think at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it a little bit simple. And do something a little bit dumb, but I measured this out and I need about a 4-inch circle, and I have a deli container that is a 4-inch circle, I think I'm gonna just put a little bit of paint on the inside of this, and I'm gonna go pop, and I'm gonna have my outline that way, and then I'll work into it. But I just need that structure kind of like popped in place first. So I think for that, I'm looking at the outside edge of this, and it's a fairly light blue. I'm probably maybe just like some Severus blue and some titanium white. It's gonna get interesting. We'll see. Okay. So, do I need these moon colors anymore? I don't think I do. I think I'm gonna clean those off. Maybe that's a good time to clean some brushes too. I may have to mix them again, but I think that's all I'm gonna do with that for today. And I got this safflower oil on my palette too, just a little bit in the way. I'm gonna clean it all off. Actually, that helps get this off the surface too. Okay. Worked quite well, actually. Maybe I would have using the lavender for that. Okay. Yeah, let's clean a few brushes. I'm gonna try to do this with mostly knives, but I will need, I think for the round edge, just to kind of clean that up, I'll probably need to brush that, and then I'll probably kind of do the same thing where I apply some colors, feather them out a bit, and keep going from there. This is one of these paintings that I feel like if I do it right, it might actually end up being really fast. But I feel like there's a lot of margin for error. There's a lot of things that could go wrong, which are a bit scary. I'm thinking about painting this, well, from dark to light, to a degree anyway. We'll see. It's gonna be tricky. Been using safflower oil as my brush cleaner, and it works really well because it takes the paint right out, but it doesn't, when it's sitting here in a container like this, it doesn't really dry out. Whereas when you put it on thin, it will dry out. And that seems to work. I've heard you can put clove oil into it as well, which will keep it from drying out, but I haven't really needed to, so keeping it simple. Might be because I tend to paint every day too, so my brushes don't really sit around that long. This one got a little, I think it's all wax in this one. Tell me what you think of space theme paintings. I've done a couple of like space things. I wanted to do a nebula painting or like a galaxy painting, maybe do the Milky Way or something at some point. I think that would be pretty fun. And those are good for like wet on wet, since you do this kind of same black background thing and then just put colors into it and fade them around and layer them up. I feel like that could work out really well. All right. This over here. Knives are clean too. All right, ready for the scary part. Try and stay super clean for this. Okay, so take some white. We'll take some Sever's blue. I want this to be close to the brightest color on here, but I don't want it to be, I want to have a little bit of room too. So I'm gonna put some other stuff in, I guess. Actually, I wish this was a little thinner, so now I probably am gonna put a little bit of safflower in with it. Just a touch. I don't want it to be too messy, but I do want it to be good, I guess. I don't know, I'm still nervous. I should probably test this first, but I'm not going to because I don't want to. I think that it's one of these things that it'll either work or it won't. And if it doesn't, then I'll have to get creative with how I save it. Or if I save it, if I start over. I'm really not big on starting paintings over though. So I'm just gonna go around this about halfway. I'm kind of using this as a stamp. Like, once I get the outline in, I really shouldn't. Should not mess it up, is basically the plan. Okay, that's a little bit more than what I wanted, so I'm gonna just clean it up a little bit. And try not to make a mess on this part here. So I've got about half. I'm gonna try and get the angle right too. So just a little bit. I'm just putting this on the inside edge because I want to try and use it as like a border so it doesn't. If I put it on the outside, then I'm gonna get like a splat. I think if I'm gonna have it splat, I want it to splat on the inside. That's the theory here. What do I know? It's an experiment. Okay. Okay, so I've got there. I've got there. And then I want to go in here and not mess this up. And be decisive. Alright, well I've got a circle. The angle is about right. I think that might actually work. Okay, so, and I actually like that it didn't put down too much paint because it gives me a guide to work with, but not so much that I have to like work against it in any way. So that's gonna be nice. Now I'm gonna be very careful and I'm gonna just kind of blend this just a little so it's not. Oh, I'm kind of scared. All right, I'm glad that this isn't wet though because I can put my finger down here. There are these, maybe you can use like a stick. I've seen people do that. I think it's called a mall stick. I don't have one though. I've wanted to put one together. That's good for like keeping your hand steady for this kind of thing. I'm just gonna be careful. Use my hand like a compass. And this side is like awkward because I'm not left-handed, but I need to go in that direction. Okay. Oh, they got a little... No, there's no paint there. Okay, that's fine. All right. Let's see. It's like a little fingerprint. If I have to, I can put another layer of oil over the whole background afterward, and I think it will even anything out that needs to be. But I don't want to rely on that. Okay. And then the other thing I have is there's like this line. I say shh, it helps. Okay. I don't want to do that. I actually don't want to do that too. I just use some ultramarine. And I'm going to start kind of putting this in. You almost shouldn't see it. It's like the dark edge, but it's kind of it's a soft edge too. So just putting it in here in blue. The ultramarine is a nice blue because it's transparent. So it's going to let mostly this black show through. Okay. And then the rest of the painting basically happens in there. Let's see. This is going to be interesting. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to just start by filling some things in. I'm going to switch to a tiny knife right away because there's not really any reason not to. This tiny knife isn't very clean. Not very entertaining, but I do want this knife to be clean. Alright, that's better. Okay, so let's see. Ultramarine, and then we'll fade it into like a cobalt in the middle. I'm going to mostly focus on the blues to start with, I think. And that will be good. So ultramarine, that over there. Cobalt and ultramarine together. And then I'll probably go closer to the Sevres blue at the very top. So I'll bring a little bit of that in here. Mix in a little bit of this. This is all pretty subtle, but I think it's worth it. So start here. Just gonna put this in. This is gonna go on a bit thicker now because I'm using a knife instead of a brush. I'm not gonna worry about the white yet, because the white will float on top pretty nicely. So really making sure you have the right darks in place, I find often leads to the best results. A little more ultramarine in that. A little cobalt. Go up a little bit. Just gonna try to keep the roundness of this in mind as I go too. And then, here, add just a little Sevres blue. Okay. Let me zoom in. I don't need to be zoomed out because that's what I've got. Okay. Actually zooming out in a way for this part actually isn't a terrible idea because it does help me probably not get too caught up in details yet. Oh, it's not going to be largely details anyway. Okay. So I've got the oceans more or less laid in here. I'm going to just blend this a little bit with the knife. And because this is such a small area, I think actually going in with the brush is going to tend to overmix everything. So I'm going to just stick to this knife setup. Here. I'm going to light up this edge. Just clean, dry brush here. Kind of hoping that the sooner I can not have to touch this edge, the better. Okay. Just wanted to have that sort of clean look. So I'm going in here. I've got this mix that I have with the Sevres blue. And just kind of starting to put the sort of atmosphere, the clouds in. Yeah, I'll just keep going with this for now. I guess this is like the jet stream or whatever. You can see. This is so wild. Okay. There's a little bit of land showing. I'm gonna grab just like a little bit of burnt sienna and mix it into this. Try and get the right, maybe a touch of alizarin. Here. It's not too bad. There's another bit right here. Might be a little bright. Try and feather that in a little bit. Okay. Okay. This is like in some ways like the least crazy and the most crazy painting that I've tried to do. Okay. It's a little bit warm, but I decided to wear the blue shirt for painting the blue planet. Gotta get this edge is gonna be rough. I don't know, I feel like I'm just not steady enough. I need to be. Maybe, what can I do? No, see, now I'm even more shaky. Kind of worked. Okay. All right. You grab a little more white. Don't want to get too white though. I think I'm gonna do. Maybe I'll try to mix a little more in. Probably gonna do this in a couple of coats actually, just because I'm realizing how tricky this is, and I think that I can get more. I'll be able to get more detail if I can layer things up. So. Okay, a little hand rest is good. Hopefully you can actually see this. I'm not just covering it all with my hair. In there. I need to go I need to get a little bit lighter, a little bit lower here. Let's try and get this edge here is feeling a little too dark. I don't know. Let's see. Get the right feel. I don't want to overdo it either though. That and sneak in with this little brush here. Maybe. It's definitely tricky. I like this edge is important though. This is like a lost edge. Down here, yeah, maybe a little brushing is a good idea. I can come back over with a knife after. Just try to get these, kind of like I did with the moon, get the undertones kind of in place. Must have been an amazing moment though. Orbiting the moon and all of a sudden just seeing the Earth pop out. There were actually a couple of photos taken before this one, but they hadn't loaded the color film yet. So they're black and white, but they're a little bit closer. But there's no color on them. maybe I could have worked from one of those too, but this is the one everyone knows, so we'll try that. Be cool if I could actually have it be recognizable as Earth when I get it done. It's still early. Okay. And this edge is going to be tricky. I think I may end up going over it with a little bit of black afterward. But we'll see. This might be the best way to kind of fade it back out. It's amazing that there aren't really there's no stars showing in this, it's just darkness. Okay. The light's nice though. It's starting to have it. It's starting to have something. I think that the lightest area is kind of like right up here. This little huge weather system, I guess, really. Let's see. Over here, it's like a little, I think it's just a touch of cobalt into this blue. Clean the knife off. I'm gonna keep bringing in some more ultramarine into this edge here. So I want it to lighten, but I want it to be kind of this warm, dark blue at the same time. It might be the kind of thing. Maybe I'll glaze over it. That kind of worked though. That did have it. Let's see. Yeah, maybe I can make it work. Maybe it's gonna work. All right. It's funny. It's funny focusing on something so intensely. Try to get the right effect. A little bit. It's more of a blue green in here. At that edge. I'm looking for these different shapes. worst is just this edge. It's torturing me. I think if I had it taped down or something though, it would actually be really distracting too, so it's okay. Like, I feel like if I couldn't see the black against it, that would be also a problem, so I don't know. Live and learn, right? A little bit more white down here. I feel good about the proportions. I feel like that is actually like, that was one of the things I was kind of the most nervous about going into this, was whether I'd be able to get things in place right. Thinking pretty close to probably being a decent stopping point for this. Just wanting to let the paint set up a bit before I go in and do more with it. So. I'm just trying. I feel like this edge is really it's like the trickiest part here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this one here. I'm gonna take a little break on it, come back with a paint set up and dry, and then just kind of go through everything, try to make it a little better. But I think it's actually off to a pretty good start. Yeah, this is probably my most strategic painting that I've had to like really think about, just knowing that it doesn't have a lot of room for goofiness, I guess. All right, well, I'll be back in a few. All right, and I'm back to earth. Yeah, I think this one is really, I don't know, it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, which is, I don't know, maybe I was not as confident as I could have been going into this, but I think mainly, I think I'm going to put a layer of black over the entire background, because I think that the shininess and the weave of the canvas are kind of bugging me right now. So I think that a layer of black will be good on everything. What I'm trying to decide right now, though, is if I want to do that first, or if I want to do that last. I think I'm leaning toward last, but I'm a little bit nervous about that. What's less likely to make a mess is the real question. I think the other thing that's nice about the black is it's going to let me kind of like fade this edge in just a little bit. I'm going to put this on just a little bit transparently right at this bottom edge and just make that a little bit better. And then down here, I just want to do, I think I'm going to just add a little bit more, like one more color, maybe kind of like even like a mid-tone, but just kind of like keep working the texture just a little bit more. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not all that many things. So if I'm not going to have tons of wet paint, then I should be able to keep like my edges kind of like dry and crisp where I want to. I'm gonna wait and do the black last because I think that will keep me from making a mess, most likely. So on the earth, which I think is where I want to start here. All this paint is pretty well set up. If I'm real like rough with it, it will probably move around a little bit. So I'm gonna just be kind of gentle, but that's fine. I'm gonna just bring a little bit more light and a little bit more texture. It's not gonna take much though. Just boost it a little bit more. Yeah. Mostly like I'm looking at like kind of the clouds and some of these little streaks, and I want to see if I can get some kind of finer lines into the mix there. So yeah, let's start with a small knife. Just take some white and a little bit of oil, just a little, just to help it move around. And I've already got a little blue in there. Let's start maybe. I think the other side of this is a little cleaner. Let's do that. I really need almost no paint here. It's going to be pretty minor. Okay. Yeah, see, now that I'm putting this on, this is going on like drier. It's actually coming up, like breaks up a little bit more. And I think that's, yeah, it gives it more of that sort of feathery cloud look that I was trying to get, but when I was doing it kind of wet into wet, it was just coming out a little too all blended. It just wasn't quite right. Okay. I'm gonna try and be gentle with it. Really good. I'm gonna take just a little bit of this, actually, this lighter blue one. I'm gonna go in here. Even go maybe a little bit more blue, but I don't wanna get too messy. I don't know, too blended. Kind of trying to find that right balance. Grab a little bit of cobalt. Try one more step. Just around here. try and keep this edge kind of dry because, like I said, I am going to go over it with a little bit of black. So let's try to stay mostly to the lightest areas. I took the time to wait so that I'd have a dry surface to work on, and I don't want to mess that up. Okay, it's really good. Off of this edge here, so I don't want I paint the black over this. It's really just spread it all over the place. Come on. It's not actually isn't a bad effect. I'm tempted to do that whole edge if I'm gonna paint over it anyway. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it. Maybe that's one of those happy accidents, I think. That's not the brush I wanted to use though. This one? Give it this one. I was so careful with this edge the whole time. I was kind of almost afraid of it. Just something that can kind of happen as you're trying to be careful. Alright, well, we'll hope that that's gonna cooperate. I guess if I go in with the knife, I'll probably be able to avoid mixing black into that white. What I don't want to do is create a gray edge on here. Alright. What do I think? Does that look... I think I could go a little bit more light blue right in here. Really good. All right. What about this middle tone here? I feel like it will be mostly in this area, kind of in the middle. I don't think I need to make anything brighter. I feel like some areas I want like one more color. It just looks a little too blah with just the mix of the two that I have right now. I feel like I can just give it a little bit of dimension. I'm just trying to decide on color. I feel like it's like middle gray. It's like just gray. And I made these with alizarin and verdian. I'm gonna try and do a mix of raw umber and ultramarine maybe for this gray. I like that. Maybe I'll do, I think raw umber and cobalt, because they're both kind of like, they're not blah colors, but they're like a little bit blah colors. Like, I don't know. They're not so bold, which is kind of what I'm after for this. It's not so bold. Just a nice middle color. It's kind of middle-ish. I'm going to take a little bit of white into this. Just lift it a little to see where I am. Sometimes when it's dark, everything just looks dark. You can't tell what color you've got. It's kind of like a charcoal. It's pretty good, actually. Actually, this painting will be something that I haven't done, which is I haven't used a lot of black, but I am going to use just a black out of the tube for the space. I think it's just so flat that there's no reason to try and do anything else with it. It's just, I think that the flatness, I'm not going to get that out of a mixed color, so let's see, this to me looks still a little dark. So let's try this. I think that the outer edges, I'm going to leave them a little bit more purple. I'm going to bring a little bit more of this gray kind of in the center here. It's almost more of a hunch than anything. That's kind of what I think I see here on the moon. It's, for whatever reason, all the color is kind of at the edges of the surface. Maybe it's the distance. It's because it's such a strange landscape. It's really hard to tell exactly what I'm looking at here in a way. Like it's scale-wise, it's just very strange. I have no idea how big these mountains are, and I have nothing in the foreground to ground me and tell me how far I am away or anything like that. No, I like that sense of confusion in a way. Like I think that it's good for it to feel kind of wrong. I don't know, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it right now. Well, it's not an alien landscape, it's pretty close. I think I like that. Okay, it's coming along. I'm gonna take just a touch of alizarin into this. Bring it just a little warmer. Bring a little. There's something funny about, like, I don't know, my relative level of worry about getting any of this stuff right. Like I feel like on the earth, I feel like everything is here. I'm so like a little bit more precious about it. I feel like it's a big responsibility to paint the whole earth, or at least a chunk of it. With the moon, I feel like it's fine. I mean, the moon's good. No one's gonna complain that I painted the moon wrong. No one's gonna say that mountain's in the wrong spot. So I can be a little more free there on the moon. It's kind of a funny way to think about it, I guess. I think that just that extra tone really just did a little. And I'm kind of blending this in. I'm working it into the canvas a little bit. Just like a sort of flatness to it that I feel like it's good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Let's go just a touch lighter. Just put put in a couple of these little things here. This is pretty close. Maybe I'm just procrastinating because I'm afraid of repainting the black. I think it's time. So I'm gonna completely clean off this palette so that I have plenty of room for the black. And let's do my usual cleanup that I don't normally share. I'll cut it if it sounds terrible. I'm not sure how it is. Very clean. Okay. And it's time. So I'm gonna take this Gamblin. This is chromatic black, and this is a black that is made similarly. It's made from a red and a green pigment. It's a different red and green pigment than my alizarin viridian combo, but it's made a similar way. So it's not a black made from charcoal. Or I guess, I think that some blacks are made that way, but this one isn't. Which I think that's gonna work fine. It's the black I have, and I have another black, but I like this one better. I'm thinking about mixing in a little bit of do I want to mix something in to help it spread better? I'm trying to eliminate brush marks. I think I'm going to mix in just a little bit of stand oil, which isn't something I normally use, but it will keep it, it's more of like a honey consistency. I'm gonna put a little on the palette and see how it plays out actually. But it tends to level, so it's thicker than a lot of the other oils. It's linseed oil, but it's a kind of a thicker linseed oil. And so I think it won't run as much, and it also will not have like brush marks if I brush it out. Which I really want this background area to be flat and not have a lot of like canvas texture. So that's my hope with this. So what I'm gonna do is grab my knife, which is nice and clean, and I'm gonna mix a little of the stand oil into this black, and we'll start there. It's funny, it actually looks lighter. It's the same coat that I put on before, so I know it dries dark. This feels to me still a little thick. I'm just gonna do some more stand oil. I'm gonna just believe. I'm mixing up more paint than I normally do because I don't want to run out, and I don't want to apply this thin. Still deciding. I think I'm gonna put it on somewhat with a knife and then probably smooth it out with a brush. In theory, that's kind of what I'm suspecting anyway. It's gonna work. So that's in there pretty good. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, I think just doing this with a knife is gonna fill in maybe I'll just do the whole thing with a knife, but it's gonna fill in, and I think it's gonna be more infinite looking, I guess. Somehow, I don't know. Again, I feel like the canvas weave was kind of, everything was coming at me, like it was just too busy. I think I really just want the space to look black. I still want it to look like a painting, like I don't need it to look like a perfectly flat thing, but I definitely want it to kind of set back behind the planet and the moon and everything and kind of go away. That's my theory anyway. And if I have to use a whole tube of paint to do it, so be it. Because that's what I want it to be like. I try and be neat about this though. I'm kind of going into the big areas first. So when I did the first coat, I mixed in a little linseed oil and I had mixed in some thinner, so it kind of, when you mix in thinner, it will soak in more. So, which is fine. Just gives it a different look. And part of why you work on canvas is you want that weave. It helps you do blending. It helps kind of make softer looking shapes. It helps with a lot of things. It's, you know, a nice traditional thing that lots of people did for a long time. So, I don't know, I've thought about that a little bit. It's like, on some level, I think canvas it's a tradition, and so people do it. But there's actually so many different things you could paint on now in terms of materials that are available. That I don't know if it's even really the best material anymore. Like, I know a lot of like Van Gogh's paintings, he had been irritated with canvas and said that some of them would have lasted, like he anticipated they would have lasted longer on something else, but they didn't have like plywood available then. I don't think, or not easily available, even if it was somewhat available for some things. It also used to be common for artists to take their canvases to a framer and have someone else do that for you. It sounds crazy, but or maybe an assistant. I don't know. Maybe staring at the earth makes you think about the time scale of things a little bit. It does for me, at least. I'm just cover this first. I know that the smoothing it out part is going to be interesting. But that's okay. Gives me another opportunity to kind of adjust my line here as well. I picked up a little paint that I didn't want, so I'll just wipe off my knife real quick and keep going. up all that paint. Yeah. Might even need more. We'll see. Trying to keep my knife clean so I don't accidentally pull any other paint up into the night sky area. Okay. That kind of worked. And the question is if maybe I do keep this and I leave the knife texture in. It's like, I don't know, I think it's going to depend kind of how much. I feel like I've gotten that flatness I was going for. Okay, I'll reserve judgment for now. In a way, I like the idea of it looking like a painting and not like an attempt at a copy of a photograph, even though it's obviously heavily inspired by a photograph. So it might be I think if I can get that spaciousness to the space without brushing this, maybe I'll do that. Okay, it's coming along. Okay. And then I'm gonna do this very careful area here. So on this main edge here, along the edge of the earth, I'm just gonna go around it. Use it to clean up this little bit of white that's coming off of it here. In a way, it's actually easier to keep this around the outside is easier to do than the inside of this, I think. The knife actually makes it even a little bit easier. I don't have to be quite as perfect. I want to get up to this close so that I don't have a edge that shows up. It doesn't look right, but is a little bit more forgiving than the first time. Oh no. Get back here. I'm gonna try and scrape just a little bit out and then come in with a little bit more paint and go back over it. I think I've got it. That's better. Okay. That was scary. I didn't like that. Okay. I'll do this one's a little scary too. There we go. There we go. funny thing about black paint is it's also going to be shiny and reflective. So it may kind of like, if you're standing in front of this, it may reflect you in it. I don't know if it's probably not reflecting me right now. It's a little bit more textured. Before I go too crazy, just get an even layer of paint in here, kind of close to this edge. This edge that scares me a little bit. Pick the right brush. I think it's gonna be this one. Alright, let's try it. Okay, come on. It's like the right amount of paint here. Maybe that's about right there, just like that, except for this one little edge here. Just like a little too bright. Okay, that looks good now. I hope you're not just seeing the back of my head the whole time. Alright. Okay. I'm gonna decide on an angle, if there's gonna be a knife angle kind of cut into all of this. Maybe it's I don't know, it's not gonna be a perfect pattern, I don't think. so close. I mean, it's got, definitely looks more painted, but I feel like it does look better without the weave showing. Really, it's really good when I step back from it. I think I want to just, it's like, I've got to keep backing up though maybe a few times and check some of these little things happening down here. Maybe this sounds good even if it seems really tedious. I hope so. Not quite. I'm just kind of undecided how I want it to. I feel like there's not. It's probably like not a right answer, but like maybe when I see it, I'll know it's the right solution. I do like it being knife though, not. I don't want to brush it out. I think even if I brush it out, it's gonna have brush marks in it, and I think I'd rather just let it kind of be what it is and have a little texture. It looks like a painting when you get up close. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Am I done? Am I really done? Feels like maybe I should be done. I'm not sure. I think that there's kind of a limit to like how much detail I can really express in this, and I think that I want it to, I don't know, yeah, I'm kind of good with it looking like a painting, but also looking like this picture, which I think it's doing that. It still looks pretty handmade, which I don't know, maybe that's cool. Maybe it's, I hope so. I hope it's cool. It's definitely like, I think, yeah, there's something where it's like definitely more handmade looking up close, which I guess maybe that's the nature of things made by hand anyway, right? Cool. Did I get a blob of, oh, did I really do that? I think I got black onto this area that had white somehow. I don't know why I did that. Fortunately, it came off. There's actually a little. Oh, man. Stop, Cal, just stop. I'll leave that there before I make a mess of anything else. And if I decide I want to do more to this, I'll just change the end of the video and do more with it. But I probably won't. I think I'd like it. I think it's definitely one that I could endlessly fuss with, but it's also pretty cool right now. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you have a wonderful day or night, or whatever you're off to next. I'm seeing the sign in black. That's kind of cool. I don't know if I've signed anything in black.